Hey guys, and welcome back to another Unfiltered Gamer Kickstarter board game review. Today's game up on the tabletop is a game about dice chucking and fighting some elemental monsters. That game is ElemenZ by Bad Cat Games. ElemenZ is for 2 to 4 players, takes about 20 to 30 minutes to play, and it's for ages 8 and up. ElemenZ is basically a game where you're going to select a specific elemental monster, and there's 4 to choose from. There is wind, there is fire, there is water, and there is earth. After you select your specific element, you're going to select the dice that come with it, as well as a totem board, which looks just like this. And you're also going to get little totems. They're little chits like this, and you're going to place them on. And then you're going to Yahtzee-style battle each other by removing shields from your opponent's avatar, as well as removing their dice from their hand. And as they lose dice, they lose life. And when they have no more dice left in their hand, they are dead. The objective is to destroy all of your other opponents, removing all the dice from their hands. If you're the last avatar left alive with dice in your hand, you are the winner. Alright, let me go ahead and show you the game. Alright guys, so this is ElemenZ, and here are the player boards. This is Icarazakav, and this is Zixturax. I'm butchering these names, I know. But basically you have the element of earth, and you have the element of water over here. And they all have different abilities. These are all the abilities on the chart, as well as their shields and their heal. And then over here it talks about their wild surging, as well as what happens if you get a fire surge, or in the water case, a wind surge, basically the opposite elements. As well as your totems. You have totems up here with little totem markers, and each person gets 4 of them randomly pulled out of a ElemenZ little bag here, and they have different ones. And you're going to place them face down. Now you can look at them, but once they're placed, they cannot move. Also, as an added expansion, you have avatar tokens, these things over here. There's going to be 3 stacks in a 4-player game, and everybody's going to get a divvied out amount depending on the number of players to use during the game. You're going to always start with 6 die, and you will decide who goes first by, I guess, rolling the die and seeing how many people get the most Z's. And there are different sides of all these dice. So what do we have here? We've got, on one single die, we have all of the symbols that you can possibly get: fire, earth, water, and wind, as well as a Z, which is a wild. And if it is your element, so if you're rolling a green die, you're going to have 2 of the same exact element, 2 of the same element that is yours. So in this case, you'll have 2 mountains, and in this case, you're going to have 2 waters. And for the fire and the wind, the same thing. So once you go ahead and pick a starting player, you'll start the game, and you'll begin rolling dice to fight. Let me explain the turns. Okay, so the boards are set up and everybody's got all their stuff. The last thing you need to do before you start rolling and picking a first player is just get all your shields in order. So every player is going to get 2 shields. Unless you're the earth player, you only need 1 because you have an extra freebie as your class. But as well as the 3rd and 4th players will get an additional 1 just for the first round because they're going to be going 3rd and 4th. So in the 3rd and 4th player case, they would get 3 and everybody else would get 2. Except, like I said, the earth gets a bonus 1. So if the earth was going 3 or 4, they would get 2 plus their free bonus. Or if they were going first, second, they would get 1 plus their bonus. So they're always going to have that 1 shield. Alright, so that being said, all the shields are set up, and the person who's going to go first will take all of their die and roll it. After they've rolled their die, they're going to then assign them to combos. And they're going to try and combo based on the different combinations on their charts. After that, then they're going to try and attack and deal damage or assign for shields, as well as playing things like their totem pieces here, or their avatar tokens here. And then after that, they will assign all the damage they can deal, and they will subtract the attack of their dice versus your opponent's defense dice, and the remainder will make opponents lose dice from their hand, or put from their hand into the pool in the middle of the table. Now you can gain the dice back if you heal, but otherwise you're going to lose those dice, and at the end of your turn, or at the end of your opponent's turn, if you have no dice, you're out of the game. Alright, let me go ahead and show you a basic turn from one of the first players. Okay, so it's Green's turn to go first, and he has got his shield already set up, but because he's going to take everything off of his board. He takes all of it. Now he's got all 7 die in his hand. First thing he does is he rolls. Alright, here we go. We got 2 Z's, mountains, water, fire. Right, so this is earth, water, and fire. He's going to go ahead and decide how he wants to do things. So he only needs 1 there. That will give him his 2 shields because he gets 1 for free. Now he has 2 Z's, and the thing is, if he rolls 3 of them at any point in time, he's going to basically crap out. And crap being the game of the craps table. Not the actual bad words. Don't need to be that. But the idea is if he does roll 3 Zs, he's done with, he loses his turn, he can't place anything, and that kind of messes him up. So he has to be careful. But these are also considered wild, so he can use them as wild. So if he's going to place them all down now, that'd be beneficial. Thing is, there's not much he can do. Maybe he can do that, and that, and then 2 fires. Okay, he'll do that. Now remember, when you use a wild, though, it has to be connected with another of the same type. So you can't just place 2 wild Zs on 2 Earths without putting at least 1 Earth. So he's done that. Next thing he can do is roll these 2. So he's going to take these, and he'll roll it. Fire and a wind, which doesn't give us much here. So he will reroll one more time. He's going for maybe an Earth symbol. Okay, so he's got a water and a wind. Nope. Well, all of his abilities need Earth. These 2 don't work, so he will use his ability. Now this one says Crystal Spire, and it says -2, which means, I believe, that a player loses 2 dice right off the bat. So he will actually have this player take away 2 dice, and they disappear. Now if it was a strike, or a molten strike, these are actually going to go against the target's defense. But because it was a simple minus and a select a player, they just simply lose the dice instantaneously. Then after that, these get removed because they're not useful anymore. Some of them actually are, and they stay on the board, but like these with little diamond symbols. But otherwise, it goes to the next player's turn, and they get to roll their dice. Okay, so like I said, the water character, or the water elemental, lost 2 dice. Realize, though, that he has this handy-dandy totem, and on the totem it says that you could lose 2 of these totem pieces, which there's 4 of them on the board, and that will stop you from negating a die. So that would be something he could do. So that was what he would probably do. If it were me at least, I would remove 2 of these. They would get removed from the game, and that would give him his die back. As well as a +1 is another ability, another thing on your totem that you might have, and you can remove this to get another die back. So now he has all his die back. Realize, however, though, that if at any point in time this totem has nothing on it, there's none of these little pieces on it, it's gone forever and you've lost it. So you have to be careful. And furthermore, on your turn, the only way to get totem pieces back is by rolling these symbols, the symbol of your color, and based on the spot is going to be where you'll place another little totem marker. All right, let me go ahead and show you another turn. All right, so now it is Water's turn, and he'll take all of his shields off, and he's going to go ahead and roll. Now, if he actually didn't have some of these die, if he actually didn't get them back from his totem, there could be a way he can gain them. And Water has the ability where if he rolls, he or she rolls all of the same type, rolls all water, then he or she will be able to take a die back, +1. So everybody can take one if they roll a Yahtzee, but Water can take 2. And it gets easier throughout the game as you have less dice to roll. That being said, he didn't have to worry about that. So, here we go. Roll this. Gonna go ahead and put some on their shield. Makes sense. And there's just a bunch of extra stuff that they can't use. You need that water. You need water when you're water. Alright, one more roll. Let's see what we got. Whoop. Oops. Okay, so we got 2 water here. And a bunch of fire. So we could go for the geyser, make somebody lose 1. We could do Ice Storm, make everybody take 2 damage. Strike, you can just simply use up to 2 strikes, up to 3 strikes if you wanted. Or, to be more safe, if you look at this totem here, there's only 1 of these little pieces left. Go ahead and put 1 or 2 right there. Then, they go into the bag and pull out one of these random ones, and they put it face down like that. Now, they can look at it, but nobody else can. And that'll keep them from losing their totem. Alright, and then play will continue and pass to the next player. So that's the idea of how a turn structure works. Rolling 3 times, assigning your combination of dice any way you can. Don't get too many wilds, but a couple is good. And be aware of how many dice you have in your pool. Maybe you want to heal, maybe you want to shield yourself, maybe you want to do damage. So I'm going to talk a little bit about strikes really quick here, so you have an idea between the difference of minusing dice and striking. So if somebody had 2 shields, 2 water shields, the only way to penetrate that shield would be to do 3 damage of strike damage. Now, for instance, fire over here, if we look at it, there's the top left-hand side here, we have 3 different strike symbols. So you would need to have 3 different fire symbols up here, and that would make 3 minus 2 for the blue and deal 1 point of damage, removing 1 die from their hand. If you don't shield yourself, you're going to take additional damage, and you can lose up to 3 with 3 strikes, so be aware of that. Another thing I'll notice, there's a lot of different token abilities. Some will let you re-roll your die. Others will have simply just a symbol that says something. This one says fire, so you can just use a fire symbol, or water. Other things will let you minus a Z, which means if you rolled 3 Zs and you happen to have a minus Z on your totem, you can take that away, and you don't actually have to, you don't lose your turn. There are other things too, as well, like there was a healing, or re-rolling the Z instead of minusing it, as well as all of these different avatars. Now, they all start off on 3 stacks on the table in a 4-player game, and whenever you use your avatar abilities, you will place them down on the table as separate stacks. And there's quite a few different things you can do. These are just a couple of the different sheets here, reference sheets that indicate what they do. Wild Surge occurs on 2 dice only on this round. Oof. One shaman with 2+ dice can't heal this round. Deflect 1 combo effect back at the originator. Some really cool things. Also note that when you get these avatars, they go face down. They only get flipped up after you're done so that people can actually see them and use them. And they never get discarded. Whereas the little totems here do get discarded. When they get discarded, they're gone from the game forever. And if this little baggie ever runs out, that's all that's left of the totems, so beware. That being said, that's how you play ElemenZ by Bad Cat Games. The person who has the last amount of dice remaining is the winner. Alright, let me tell you what I think about it. Alright, so ElemenZ by Bad Cat Games. What is there to say first? Well, artwork. Artwork is a big one on this game. There is tons of really nice art. Perhaps we'll just have some popped up there so you can see it. You feel like you're an elemental monster going around trying to become the greatest element of all. I really like the flow of the game. It's very, very simple, and your turns are very quick. You roll your dice 3 times, you place your dice on combos, you do what they say. I like also the fact that you have a lot of variability in this game. You could use your totems, you could use your avatars, you can use just your combo effects. Maybe you want to heal. All these different things, as well as how many choices you have to buy, especially with the little expansions. Now, I must say that this game is the 2nd edition, and it has quite a different variety of things now they've included, as well as they've changed the artwork and the boards. They've included reference cards, which are very nice, and the rules are nice and polished and well met, and I understood them very well, so I am very grateful to that. I also want to go ahead and talk about the strategy behind the game. So, obviously, striking is good, but only if your opponent doesn't have defense. If your opponent has defense, then you want to make them lose dice. The cost of losing dice, though, is very steep. If you're not careful, you can't shield yourself. Shielding yourself is probably the most important thing to do. Every character has their own special ability. The blue can heal for additional. The shield, the wind or earth has a bonus shield forever. The fire actually gets free strikes that are located on the board, so you don't actually have to roll the dice for that. It already counts for you. And what is this one here? The wind over here, this one has a re-roll of any 1 die every round, which is also very beneficial. When you're playing 4 players, there is a bit of a team aspect to stopping the player who's taking away everybody's dice. Doesn't necessarily mean you can stop them, because in my case, I was able to just beat everybody, even with them all against me, just how the dice are rolled. So, it's a luck game to an extent. You have a lot of control how you determine your luck, though, and there's a lot of things that will change the roll of the dice to mitigate disaster. And there can be a lot of disaster in this game, or a lot of benefit. So, luckily, I would say this is a dice chucker kind of like King of Tokyo, but there's just a lot more choice, a lot more options, and I feel a little less, oh no, this is what I got, oh I can't buy this or do that. There's so many options in this game, which is great. A couple little notes, I should say, the little negatives is the dice here, these ones are clear. They're hard to see. I think, from when I was talking to them, is they're going to be changing that up, because I can't play it on most tabletops because you just can't see the symbols. The rest of them, though, are great, wonderful. The dice are nicely cut in, laser cut, or whatever you want to call it. They're really, really nice, really solid. And all the symbols are wonderful. And I really, really enjoyed this game. The thematic aspect is great. The artwork is great. There's not a lot to say negative other than just those dang dice. And I guess the irritation of sometimes not rolling what you want. But really, it's not really anybody's fault when you don't get what you want. Because I guess you can't always get what you want. Oh, that was lame. Alright guys, thanks for watching another Unfiltered Gamer Kickstarter board game review, and for checking out the newest rendition of ElemenZ. Such a nice version of the game. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see it fund on Kickstarter. There's going to be a lot of stuff in this campaign. If you like dice chuckers, do check it out because I want to see it on my shelf, the final copy. Also, checking out unfilteredgamer.com, our website. We've got tons of blog posts, giveaways, news, and more. Links and all that is in the description. Also, go ahead and check out our affiliate websites, everythingboardgames.com, The Giveaway Geek, and Devotos Gaming. Alright guys, that's it for this video, and once again, we look forward to seeing you next time.